Hi everyone, it's Ash from FPL Hints here with another update on my UEFA Fantasy Champions League adventure for the 23-24 season. I'll provide a quick check-in on how Match Day 7 went, as well as a preview of Match Day 8, as well as my bus team for this match day and the transfers that I'm going to make. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. As you can see, I had green arrows galore for Match Day 7, and I took this massive risk whereby all of the players that I selected effectively played in the first week of matches. It was just more out of spontaneity, and also the fact that I felt those fixtures were more favourable in many respects. So 18.9k overall, just outside of the top 500 in England. And in terms of how I am in my leagues, again, green arrows there as well. But the aim that I ultimately have for this season is to finish in the upper echelons of England, essentially. And in terms of how the team did for points, so I scored 70 points, which I understand is well above the average. Disappointment with the quadruple Bayern Munich players, with Upamecano getting a red card, and then Sane, Musiala, and Kane blanking, which, had they even had something between them in terms of returns, then I would have been looking at a score nearer to 100 points. But thankfully, my Manchester City players, in particular De Bruyne and Foden, chipped in. And Ake, of course, conceded a goal due to the howler by Edison. But then, thankfully, I had Lunin in goal with a 9-point haul. Also, had the foresight to captain Hakimi as my second captain, so got 16 points there. And in terms of the players that were benched, again, started Haaland, but he blanked. And then Rodrigo, surprisingly, also blanked as well. Then again, probably missed the connection with Bellingham. And then Hernandez only picked up 1 point, and then Romero got 2 points as well. So as a whole, considering that I took this risk of doing massive quadruple ups and triple ups on teams that I felt would do fairly well, I think on the whole, it kind of worked out. Clearly, there are players that are missing here, and had Arsenal not blanked against Porto, then I could have been in a really dark red arrow situation. So looking at the fixtures before I go on to the bus team now for match day 8, we can see that Porto are playing Arsenal in the second leg, and of course Arsenal agonizingly missed out. So it's going to be an uphill struggle against Porto, and from my perspective, I would strongly consider getting some sort of Arsenal player because it's such an important must-win match for them. It's not going to be easy, of course, with Porto, with how they've done in the Champions League this season. So it's too close to call. I personally think it'll probably go to extra time, even penalties. That's how close I think that match will be. As for Napoli and Barcelona, they had a draw score in the first leg. On paper, you'd think Barcelona have enough to beat Napoli, albeit they're playing away. And again, I think it'll be a very tight match as well. Might even also go to extra time and penalties as well. So on to PSG and Real Sociedad. The big miss I really had in match day 7 was Mbappe. Didn't really show much form in the group stages, and I felt that I had sufficient cover with Harry Kane, Haaland, and Rodrigo. And clearly, I'd want to get Mbappe in at some point, because I feel that with a 2-0 lead in the first leg, they should be more than comfortable in defeating Real Sociedad and progress to the quarterfinals. And then on to Inter Milan against Atletico Madrid. Just a 1-0 lead in the first leg. I kind of feel this match could also go to extra time and penalties as well. Wouldn't want to call it. Wouldn't really even want to invest in either of those player sets for the time being. On to PSV and Dortmund. Surprisingly close. I thought Dortmund could have potentially have taken a first leg lead there. I think Dortmund could probably edge them out in the second leg, but it remains to be seen if they can do that. And then on to Lazio and Bayern Munich. On paper, that was somewhat of a shock result for Bayern, but then again, you look at the results of late, they really haven't gone their way. They've squandered their title chances. Now they're 10 points back in the Bundesliga as well. This is an absolute must-win match for Thomas Tuchel. I kind of feel that although I've got the quadruple up from Bayern, I'll probably scale back from that. But I think they're more than capable of winning this because they've got, well, nothing else. They've got it on. They've got everything in this match now. It's all or nothing for this. On to Copenhagen and Man City. It was a comfortable Man City win. Again, very unnecessary away goal to concede. No massive issues there for Man City. And then you've got Leipzig and Real Madrid. Again, Real Madrid have taken the early first leg lead. But then again, they didn't have Jude Bellingham, and he is fit, albeit got a red card in La Liga. And with a fully fit Bellingham this season, kind of makes sense to factor him in, and he will be the match winner, no doubt, in the second leg as well. So on to the bus team now. So as it stands, I've got Haaland as my captain for the first round of games in the first week. And I've got Kane and Rodrigo as well. I've got De Bruyne, Zaire Emery, Foden and Sane. And then Hernandez, Upamecano and Hakimi. And Lunin is my goalkeeper. And then Romero, Musiala, Ake and Nacho, who make my bench. And in terms of that ordering, it's done specifically because I've got PSG in the first round of games and then Bayern as well. So I've tried to start them as much as possible in this bus team. And then the Wednesday fixtures, of course, it's Real Madrid and Man City, who I'll ultimately have as a quadruple up and triple up respectively there. So from my perspective, I think I've got a good slate of players. And as it stands, the vast majority of these players, if not all of them, I beg your pardon, are actually due to start once again in this first week. So I've really got to hit and hope that they absolutely nail it for this first week. And of course, as we know with the rules for UEFA Fantasy Champions League, I've got the option of making 3 transfers ahead of match day 8, and that's exactly what I'll be doing. So it just makes sense to do some tune-ups. I'm not going to be strictly putting all my eggs in the first week basket once again, albeit it kind of worked this time around. So in terms of the moves that I'm going to make, I feel that I will use all 3 transfers up. And in terms of those moves in particular, what I'm going to really focus on is really some of those Bayern Munich players. So Upamecano obviously is suspended, so I have to get rid of him. And I want to get Bellingham in. I also want to get Saka in as well. I feel that got lucky with Saka blanking in the first leg, but I think it's absolutely insane if I didn't have Saka again. So the players who I'm going to switch out in this instance, is it a risk? I'm not so sure, but they've really been lacking in form. I have to get rid of Musiala and I have to get rid of Leroy Sané as well. I just feel that with them in particular, they've just been a massive letdown for want of a better word. So in terms of the players that I'm going to get, I feel that, like I've said, Saka comes in, Bellingham comes in as well. And then with my remaining player, I'm going to select Kim from Bayern Munich. Again, Bayern Munich have been massively disappointing, but I need a 5-ish million defender. And in terms of how Kim has done in the Champions League this season, he hasn't been too bad, actually. More or less got a fantasy return in almost all of the games that he's played in. And I just feel that if I'm going to get a 5-ish million defender, then he really fits the bill. The only other defender I could have considered was Koundé of Barcelona, but then wasn't really fully set on him, but it is what it is. So I've got 0.1 million once I commit these transfers. The thinking behind these moves in particular is that obviously I've got Haaland as my captain for, well, he's my bus captain, I beg your pardon. I'll probably pick Harry Kane as my captain for Tuesday. If he blanks, then I've got Haaland as my captain for Wednesday. And then if he blanks, I've then got Saka as my final captain. Of course, in terms of the players that I've picked, I've only got one player, that's Saka, once I commit these transfers for the next week. But it's worth the risk. I've got the quadruple ups, I've got the triple ups. Let's see what happens. So I guess the only way I can proceed is just confirm those transfers. That's Musiala out, Saka in, Sane out, Bellingham in, Upamecano out, and Kim in. So I've just confirmed those transfers now. And if I go to my team screen now, I will order the players so that they're ready for this match day. So captaincy goes on Harry Kane because he's playing on the Tuesday, first match. Can't really pick another PSG player. The only unfortunate thing is that I really wish I had Mbappe, but then no doubt if Bayern crash out of the Champions League after Tuesday, then I'll almost certainly get him in. So I've got Harry Kane as my captain. And then in terms of the subs, I'm going to make sure that I start Kim and I bench Saka, because then Saka can get subbed on for next week, or who I almost certainly will sub on. No doubt I'm not going to have a full slate of returns with these players. I've got Hernandez and Zaire Emery, who are going to play on Tuesday. So I'll take out Ake. Just confirm that now. And I'll put on Hernandez. And then I'll take Zaire Emery on. And I'll take out Foden. So again, it's looking like a 4-3-3 formation. I'm just going to confirm this now. And I'll just do a super zoom in so you can see my team for match day 8. Strikers, Harry Kane, Haaland, Rodrigo, with Haaland being the second captain in this scenario. Bellingham, De Bruyne, Zaire Emery are my starting midfielders. Nacho, Hernandez, Hakimi, and Kim make up the defence for this initial round of games, and Lunin in goal. And then the bench is Romero, Foden, Saka, and Ake. So there you have it. Once again, heavily stacked for the first round of games in match day 8. Let me know in the comments below what you think, if I've got the balance right, if I've got it wrong, and how you're doing in UEFA Fantasy Champions League this season as well. So let's see what happens. And if it all goes wrong, then thankfully, before the quarterfinals, I have 5 transfers at hand to correct it all. So hoping that most of the players that I do have will come out unscathed in the round of 16, and that should keep me in good stead. So apart from that, wishing you all the best in match day 8. Take care and all the best. Thank you. Bye.